Hello, welcome to my monthly wrap up. So I'm just going to get straight into it. August was not a great month for me. This was a very challenging month. It had a lot of hard times. One of them being that my car was broken into and robbed, and it just didn't happen once, it's happened again, like this morning. So it's very upsetting when that happens. And there was also a lot of really bad health stuff. So just, you know, there was usual health things like Hashimoto flare-ups and things like that. But I've just been diagnosed with 2 more conditions that I'm actually getting some second opinions from specialists on. So I'm still struggling and dealing with that at this point. I haven't spoken about it on my booktube channel either. I'm kind of waiting until I actually get proper confirmation. I'm someone who doesn't like to talk about things unless I have proof, like, okay, this is what I have, and then I can deal with it. At the moment, it's just, you know, hypothesis. We believe this is what you have, and this is what you have. I'm like, okay, well, let me go and get that either confirmed or refuted. So I'm in the process of doing that. I had a friendship sort of dissolve, which was very traumatic for me, and just a lot of crap. I can't even begin to tell you everything. I spoke about some of it on my booktube channel, but not all of it. It was just too much going on. It was one thing after mother F another. So August was a bit of a downer month for me. There were some good things that happened. Obviously, there's always the sweet with the bitter, but overall, a very emotionally stressful time for me and physically, obviously. So yeah, I just felt like I got hit from all angles in this one. But you know, I'm keep on keeping on, and that's all you can do in that case. But let me talk about all the other wonderful things though, you know, that happened this month. Let's not sit in the doom and gloom. So there was in terms of dating, I pretty much, that has stopped in the beginning of the month. I think I had 1 or 2 dates. One of them wasn't really a romantic date. It was a catch up with the first person I had ever gone on a date with. So the very first person who asked me out and I went on a date with, we caught up after 20 years, and it was nice and it was cool to reminisce. We haven't seen or spoken to each other since then, but that was nice. But yeah, after that, there have been no more romantic dates. I haven't been chatting to anybody. There is no one. And I think also too, a big part of that is because I'm already dealing with so many things. I don't actually have the energy to put into dating. So that's just how it's worked at the moment. I'm sure when things get better, I might have some renewed energy to get back into that. But at the moment, I'm like, nah, I've got to focus on myself, which is what I'm doing. So let's talk about TV shows. I've watched a lot of TV. So this month, yeah, to deal with everything, I've read a lot. I've watched a lot. I've done all the things that I can to bring me comfort. So we'll start with shows. I watched What We Do in the Shadows. So I hadn't seen season 4 and 5. And obviously 5 is still ongoing, so I haven't seen it all. But my God, I freaking love this show. It brings me so much joy. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. The previous seasons, Laszlo has been my favorite character. He's a cad and I love him. I also have a soft spot for Guillermo, but season 4 and 5, Nadia is my bitch. Oh my God, I love that woman. She's just giving me life right now. But this show is just chef's kiss. If you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows TV show, highly recommend. Season 4, I loved even more than season 5. It was just on fire. And yeah, it just gave me so much happiness. So love that show to bits and pieces. Then for movies, I took the kids to see The Little Mermaid. Look, it's not for us. We're not a family that likes musical stuff. We don't like singing in movies. The only movies that we've enjoyed that have songs is the Lorax. Those songs just hit, son. I don't know what it is about the songs in Lorax, but we love those. And obviously the kids did like things like Frozen and Encanto, but not because of the songs. Like they like the movie in spite of the musical elements. So yeah, unfortunately, The Little Mermaid was just, we didn't connect. The kids just felt like the guy, Eric, looked way too old for Ariel. We didn't feel chemistry between them. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny like the cartoon was funny. So this was not a successful update of the film for us. Then we went and saw Elemental. Okay, so with Pixar films, normally I generally love them. This was one of the ones that I like less. I didn't enjoy it as much. Look, it's about people who live in this world and they're all different elements, and the 5 people pretty much, I think, represent immigrants. And obviously the struggle that they go through having to leave their country and then go to a new country and then to be sort of rejected by that country and ostracized. Yeah, I didn't love it, but there was one bit at the end that got me in the feels, and it's to do with a bow. And if you know, you know, like with Pixar, there's always some sort of emotional manipulation at some point that gets you to cry. And I thought I got through the whole movie without feeling anything. And then I was like, God damn it, you made me feel. So it was fine. My youngest daughter did not like it at all. My eldest daughter did enjoy it. But yeah, it's not Pixar's best, but you know. I also watched The Guardians 3 because it came out on Disney+. Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's still feels like more of the same. It was okay, you know? It was okay. It was entertaining, but I didn't particularly love it, you know? It was all right. So, Guardians 3. I also watched the movie No Hard Feelings. Like I said, I had a movie month. This is about a older woman who's down on her luck, and she takes the job of pretty much being a girlfriend to like an 18-year-old boy, because their parents are worried about him, that he hasn't had any experience and they want him to come out of his shell. So she starts dating him. It is unhinged. She's not a great person. It's wacky. It's pretty funny. There was a full-blown nudity scene that I did not see coming, but I guess it added to the comedy of that scene, the comedic factor. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought it would. I thought it would be a very meh movie, but I did find myself laughing. So yeah, I kind of liked it. So with books, this month I read 47 books. I obviously have my book channel where I talk about all my books, and it's also a lifestyle kind of vlog. And out of all of those books, there was one 5-star, and that was a middle grade book called The Grace of Wild Things. This is by the author who did who did Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Grace of Wild Things, I freaking loved. I love this book. It is very cozy fantasy about an orphan girl who's just trying to find a family, trying to be accepted for who she is. There are animal familiars in this. There are witches who are not good witches. These witches cook children up in their ovens. So I liked that it was like they had dark elements in there, but you know, somehow these people found tolerance and that with each other. I really enjoyed it. It was a sweet read that left me feeling really happy. In music, so there were 2 albums that I listened to this month. One is by Hosier, and I would say my favorite song on that album would be The DeSelby Part 2, so I really enjoyed that. The other album I've listened to is by Tovlo. She's just a cool bitch. And probably my favorite song on there is Suburbia. So both of those albums I enjoyed. Another song that I enjoyed this month was 1035. My youngest daughter really liked it and has been playing it, so it's been a bit of a bop. And those have been the musical flavors of this month. In terms of food, I made quite a few things as part of my August reset vlog, which is going to be coming up soon. The favorite thing that I made, though, the most delicious, was the green goddess salad, which was also really basic, just potatoes and green beans and veggies in a green goddess dressing with some eggs. You could add things, I think tuna or salmon would be beautiful with it, or chicken. But it just flavor smash in my mouth, and really liked it, really feeling rustic fare. In terms of the garden, we're getting blooms. So I have so many freesias popping up of all different colors everywhere. More daffodils, irises. My jasmine has just exploded and it's beautiful to smell. Yeah, just everywhere flowers, flowers, flowers. Blossoms, obviously we're getting the spring blossoms happening on the trees. So it's been delightful to see, because spring is around the corner for us. It's just a few weeks away, but we're getting a taste of it already. So my garden is in need of a big overhaul. I might do a before and after. It's been trash. My ex-boyfriend was taking care of it, but at the moment we're not. At the moment he's not, so it's become wild again, you know. So I do need to try and just figure out how I can manage it on my own. I'm gonna try my best, but you know, I'm one woman with 2 kids and 3 cats, and what can I do? Speaking of cats, so if you've seen my vlog, you'll know that Willow, I'm having to rehome Willow because she is not getting along with the other cats. I had listed her with a rescue. They did call me to say a foster family wanted to take her, and I'm like, sure, let's set it up. Didn't hear from them for like 4 days, called them back, and they said, oh, sorry, the foster family got a cat from somewhere else. So it's been disappointing. At the same time though, I'm kind of relieved. It's a bittersweet thing. I don't want her to go. You know, she's my cat, but she's not happy here, and she is a threat to my other cats' well-being. Like, if she does get out, she tries to kill them. So it's not a joke, but it's just something that it's causing me a lot of low-grade stress. you know, I'm grieving this whole time. Like I'm in grief constantly about her leaving, but she hasn't left. So it's really shitty. And I don't like talking about it, to be honest. So I'm just going to leave that there. Purchases. So I got a lot of things this month. So I got some new crystals. I'll put a little photo up here. So I got some spirit quartz is what this is called, and angel aura quartz, but spirit quartz was just calling my name. So I purchased it. I also got some candles. So we've got, this is from the Wick Witch Apothecary in Canada, I think. So we've got the star here. It's a candle, a star candle. I don't remember what its scents are, so I'll write those up. But I got this one because I need some hope, you know, I need some renewal in my life. And I got this one, made me laugh. This is Whore Island. Just because you're a dirty tramp doesn't mean your home has to smell like one. Go back to your home on Whore Island is a quote that I use a lot. It's from Anchorman. And so when I saw this, I'm like, come on, bruh. And it smells divine. This one has a island scent, and I'm a sucker for anything that's got coconut. I love the coconuts, but yeah, this made me absolutely giggle, and I love it. I love it. I also got some fancy editions of books this month, which I will show you a picture of here. I showed them in detail on my booktube channel, and I just can't bother going to get them. Like, sometimes I'm a lazy hoe for sure. Let's talk about the cafes. So as you know, I take myself out for a date every week to a cafe. I'm trying to get a collection of cafes that I love so that whenever I have to go to brunch with someone, I can be like, let's go here. We're going to have a guaranteed good time here. So far, there's just one cafe on there because I have to love everything. I have to love the food, the service, and the ambiance of the cafe, and accessibility as well. Because some of these cafes are down lane ways, so you have to park ages away and do dodgy cobblestone streets past dumpsters and human piss and like those situations. No. My favorite food that I got from a cafe this month was this okonomiyaki dish. It was absolutely delicious. I am a sucker for okonomiyaki when it is done well, and this was done well, and the bits of tofu. I love tofu as well. It was yum. I loved it. Didn't love the cafe, loved the meal. The favorite cafe would probably have to be, I've forgotten the name of it. Put it up here. I liked the space. It had a nice design to it, and the food was okay. The service was great. So, you know, it was good, but this one was one of those go through weird ass alleyways to get there cafes. So it's not one I would go back to, but I did actually like the cafe, just not the location, to be honest. So that's all of the other updates. We are now going to go on to everything that I've crocheted this month, and also all of the decks. This was a deck heavy month, so therefore a lot of crochet and a lot of decks, a lot of fantastic decks. Like I literally loved pretty much every single deck except one, and that was the Illuminated Oracle, which was the last one that I've just posted. So you've already seen my review for that. And speaking of reviews, I've changed how I have done my walkthroughs. I'm no longer putting my personal reviews in them. Obviously, there will be some older ones that I've already filmed that are still coming up, but all the newer ones will not have my reviews in them. I'm saving my personal opinions here. I also took out the music because I actually don't like listening to music in videos. It's a sensory thing. So I thought I'm going to just take it out because this way, and then I can just quietly go through the cards, and I might give my little first impressions sometimes too, not all the time because I don't want to talk the whole way through the flip throughs. But yeah, I've made them a bit quieter, a bit softer, a bit more neutral and impartial, the walkthroughs. And like I said, I'm leaving my personal reviews for this video. I also want to shout out to Rochelle, who made it possible for me to get the Tarot of Aphrodite. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to have it. And she also gifted me the Musings of Aphrodite Oracle as well. So she was just my tarot angel this month, and kisses to you. But here is my deck and crochet portion. Okay, so now it's time for the tarot and crochet portion of my wrap up. So I'm excited. I'm going to start with this one because I did not crochet a bag for this because I just thought this actually works really well. This little bag. Sometimes when decks come in these little organza bags, I just keep them that way. So this is the Musings of Aphrodite, which was kindly gifted to me by my lovely online buddy Rochelle, because she sourced the Tarot of Aphrodite deck for me because I couldn't purchase it from Australia. They wouldn't ship here, and she threw this in as well when she sent it to me. So thanks, darling. So how do I feel about this deck? Well, first of all, it goes perfectly with the Tarot of Aphrodite deck. It's a perfect match. I do like that the message is just there on the card, so I don't have to faff about with anything else. I do generally like the images, except for the really modern ones. I just find them very jarring. And like I said, I do believe the creator did that so that there could be some more diversity in terms of, you know, ethnicities in this deck. Otherwise, it's very white lady strong. And the only other qualm I have is it'd be more uniform. So as you can see, some of them go across the page, but you see what I mean? Like, this just doesn't go with the other pictures. Like, whereas this is just a single picture there, I would have preferred all the pictures be landscape just for uniformity. But yeah, the modern ones just stick out like a sore thumb to me. So I don't like those, but I do like that the colors change too with every card. The keywords are great. And like I said, it works really well with the Tarot of Aphrodite. In terms of cardstock, like, it's fine. It's not like amazing, but it's kind of like a mass market cardstock. That's how I feel anyway. But yeah, the modern ones I just don't think go as well with this deck. But this was the Musings of Aphrodite. I do love the size as well. I just really like smaller size decks. Okay, so here we have the bag. So this is a bag for the Guided Hand Tarot. So I did make it too big. I don't know what's going on with me lately, but I wasn't paying attention. I made a lot of my bags a bit too big. But this yarn is Primrose Yarn Co. That's the button. I'll do a little close-up so you can see the button. And it's in the colour Love Spell. It's a 4-ply, so I've double-stranded it. And I did it in Suzette stitch. So I chose blues and pinks because I felt like this deck has a lot of blues and pinks on the back. So I thought it would go in that respect. So that's the bag. So here we've got with the Guided Hand Tarot, you've got the little booklet. I edged mine in a blue, a light blue, to sort of go with the blues on the deck. And I love this deck. It was love at first sight for me when I saw it on Annette's channel. And the fact that it just absolutely resonates beautifully with the Begin Oracle, there was just no hesitation. I ordered it immediately. So I do like collage decks. I don't have a lot of them. This one has a bit of a retro vibe, as you can see with the color scheme and most of the images that are selected. There's obviously hand-drawn elements in there as well. But I've had a lot of fun with it. It reads well for me, and I've absolutely, that's upside down, devil's upside down, enjoyed it. It's going with a lot of the new decks that I've added to my collection, surprisingly. It matches a lot of them. So yeah, this was a lovely addition to my collection. I didn't really have anything like this before I got this particular deck, but now I've gone on a bit of a sort of retro collage binge, if you will. But yeah, this deck has been a delight to work with, and I look forward to continuing to use it in the future. Okay, so here is the next baggie. So this is for the Lame Hype Tarot, and I wanted something that was like a bit vintage looking, you know, a bit retro. So this stitch is Spider Stitch, which I think looks kind of cute. I don't mind it. Would I use it again? I'm not sure. Perhaps. The yarn is Hedgehog Fibres in 8-ply, and the colour is in Whisper. So as you can see, these are pinks, but I chose this one because a lot of the cards have like pinks and browns and purples in them, so I thought it would be a good match. And I'll just put it up so you can see the button, which is, like I said, kind of a retro vibey button. So here is the Lame Hype. So don't love the backs, like they're a bit eh. The grey matte I'm not into at all. I just don't think the grey matte really works with any of the colours in this deck. A green I would have understood a bit more. But this deck, yeah, so I don't have the guidebook anymore. I do not have it because it just didn't, nothing for me. It didn't add anything to the readings. It was good for a giggle, so I read through it all, had my laughs, and then went off you go. It was also very large and papery, and yeah, I don't miss it. It was a good choice to not use the guidebook. I saw this deck originally on Dawn Michelle's channel, and like I said, I thought it was funny the way everything was renamed. I was into. I like the vibe, the aesthetic, and I just thought I'd give it a go. So with this deck in particular, if you saw, I do feel like a lot of these images must be from pornos. That they've got to be from like 70s pornos. I said that I was, you know, it was being a bit of a smart ass, and it has a bit of an attitude. and I wasn't like quite sure how to use it, but yeah, it's definitely one that like I don't use for serious readings. I use them more for levity or for readings that are just for the fun of it. So it doesn't, yeah, it's not a serious go-to for help kind of deck for me. But yeah, it does put me in a good mood. Like, how can it not? Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it's very tongue-in-cheek. And yeah, it's staying in my collection. I don't love the color borders around the edges, but maybe like, it could have been a situation too where like I had with my Deathly Flowers deck where this was meant to be in the bleed area, and then after production, you know, they cut into it and it got printed. So I don't know if this was intentional with the border or if it was like what happened with me and my deck. But yeah, I like it, and it's staying in my collection. Okay, so now we're going on to the bag I made for the Southern Gothic Oracle. So I just kept this real simple. I just went with navy blue. I am trying to use up the yarn that I do have and not buy more yarn. And sometimes, like in this case, I'll end up picking one that doesn't really super match, but I promised myself that I would go through my yarn collection first and then I'll buy as I need it. So this is Australian wool store in a 10 ply, so it's real thick and cushy. And it's in a random stitch I found on the internet that I've used before, but has no name for it. It was just Google crochet stitches on YouTube, and this one came up. So I do like it. It does bend awkwardly like in the corners, but it's fun. It's got a lot of texture. Oh, and the color for this one is called Fitzie. Okay, so here we are with the Southern Gothic Oracle. I'll move that. Guidebook, fantastic. Really like the guidebook. I wish there was more divination part, less explanation part, but it's fine. I edged mine in like a silvery blue metallic to sort of go with the deck. So this deck was very surprising. I obviously was drawn to it, to its imagery. I'd seen it before, but it's just one of those decks that I really just didn't pull the trigger on. I'd had it on my, you know, Etsy page and liked items for yonks, but I just never went ahead with it. And then I don't know what changed my mind, but I was thinking, you know what, I want to try a few more Etsy decks out. Sometimes it is hit and miss with some that don't have any video walkthroughs. This one's had plenty though. So like I said, everyone that seems to have this deck really enjoys it. So I thought, you know what, just give it a go. And I'm glad I did, because I really like it. I played with it so much when I got it originally. You know, when you get those decks where you can't put them away. You just want to keep playing with them. You're just like, how many more spreads can I possibly do in a day? I don't know, but I'm going to try because I just don't want to put it down. And this was one of those cases. So some pictures I love more, like this one I just don't feel goes with the rest of the deck. This is a bit of an odd cut out, but the other ones, I just love it. There's just this also kind of cottagecore, but Gothic cottagecore-esqueness to it. I'm having a bit of a fascination with like Southern Gothic at the moment in general. Like I'm reading a lot of books based there as well. So I just love that they've also got so many mundane items in here juxtapositioned with the more exotic things that you don't normally see. It's a nice like cultural dip my toes in sort of experience, because obviously I'm not from the South, so some of these items don't really hold significance for me. So it's been fun to learn about these more significant totems and things from another culture. But yeah, I really love it. The only like gripe I have is the cardstock sometimes clumps, like it sometimes sticks, but that's about it. I also feel like this one doesn't go either. Maybe it's just the pink and purples I feel jarring, because this deck tends to have more muted hues besides those ones. But I've loved it. So definitely, like I said, don't regret it whatsoever. I don't even mind that it's got these borders, even though they are a bit odd in terms of the color. I find this is a bit odd, but yeah, I don't mind it. So I love that it's got the keywords on the front. Thank you, because like I said, sometimes you don't, if you're in a hurry or you just don't feel like it, it's great that you can just use the keywords on here rather than having to go to the book. But like I said, I still very much enjoyed the book. And I know this creator does expansion packs, but the expansion pack's not for me. It's a bit too creepy and eerie. But I did end up deciding to buy her plant one. After loving this one so much, I've ordered it, so that will be coming soon. But yeah, this was a good choice on my behalf, and I've enjoyed my time with it. Okay, so this is my Dreams Within Dreams bag. So I'll put it up so you can see the button, which is very sparkly. So I decided to do something different with this bag. I decided to make a bag that folds out as a mat. But I'll just show you. So this stitch is called linen or moss stitch, and it's a flatter stitch because obviously I want it to be a mat. So as you can see, I've done it so it's longer, and that way if you want you can, you know, place your cards down, these are upside down, on it. So it's a bit of a reading mat scenario that I've done, but this is in Qing fibre. Qings are beautiful. I do these days tend to try and just buy locally made yarns, but this is in Qing, in cornflower, in 4-ply. So I'll just move this to the side. So this is the Dreams Within Dreams. This is okay, very basic. These cards are gorgeous. So it is, you know, excellent quality. It's that like very thick satin. I got mine in the gold instead of the silver, but you had a choice if you wanted the gold holographic or the silver, and I went for gold because I like a bit of warmth. This is a multi-artist deck. For some reason I didn't realize that when I purchased it. I must have just missed that part. I do find sometimes the Kickstarter campaigns a bit overwhelming with all the information, and I don't read it as well. But this is multi-artist, so some cards I do like more than others, and it's not generally my style. Like I don't particularly love the more anime cartoon, but I don't know, I just really like this deck, man. I was unsure when I got it. I thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to dig it. Like I don't love all this imagery, but then it read beautifully. So it's one of those cases where, once again, don't judge a book by its cover. Have a play with it first, because you never know what you're going to connect to. So I have enjoyed my time with it. I think it's very sweet. It definitely took me by surprise because I just really thought, I don't think I'm going to like this deck, especially once I saw the AI images, because I just don't vibe with AI at this point in time. So when I saw those two, because once again, I obviously didn't read it in the description, but as soon as I saw the cards, I'm like, that's an AI picture, like 100%. And yeah, and then I went back and read through, and I'm like, okay, Chanel, you need to really make sure, like you can tell the AIs, you know, they've got sometimes a similar aesthetic to them depending on which generator that they used. But yeah, I like it. It's like, here's another AI one. Like you can tell, they just stand out. They stand out. But I love this. Oh, I love this picture. This. I think this one's the one that sold me. I don't know. This little bunny girl going on an adventure and a forked path. Which one's she going to choose? It's youthful. It's cute. It's magical. It reminds me of Studio Ghibli, and I love Studio Ghibli. You know, so, and there's, like I said, there are some darker, more shadowy cards in here. I remember with this deck though, I did wish that they told you what the image is based on, because like this one for sure is Greek mythology. That's got to be Poseidon, right? So what's the story here? You know, like I want to know, which mythology is this? Is it Norn? Is it Greek? Like which one? Tell me. But yeah, I like it. My kids liked it as well. This like is one of those like pleasing decks to the youngins as well. This one's so waterbender. Is it not? It does look like that to me, but yeah, I ended up bonding with it, even though I thought, oh, I'm not going to keep this deck, but surprise, surprise, it earned its spot. Okay, and now we've got little ghosts oracles. So I'll show you the button up close. I don't know what this yarn is. So sometimes when I buy yarn, I ask them to wind it, because all yarn comes in like skeins, those big, you know, infinity loopy things, and I can't crochet when it's in that formation. So it has to be wound into a little ball like this. So when I buy yarn, I'm like, can you please wind it? Sometimes you do have to pay extra, but after winding myself, because I do have a winder, I don't like doing it, and it's worth the extra couple of bucks. So unfortunately, some companies don't put the label back in. Like you can see with this one, they've put the paper back in, so I know what yarn this is. So whoever did this one for me didn't do that. So I have no idea what this beautiful DK, it's definitely 8-ply yarn is, which sucks. But I did this one in Trinity Stitch, which, to be honest, I think I might do more bags in Trinity Stitch because it's very neat. And I think it's just a lovely design, and it does the yarn really well. So I went with purples and blues because the box had purples and blues, so it doesn't really go with this very well, but it did match the box. So this is a little Ghosts Oracle by Celia Melville. I don't know how to pronounce French, but how stunning is the edging. It's holographic, but it's patterned, so I absolutely love that. Same with the ghosties and the stars and moons on the backs. Beautiful, stunning, love it. And my favorite thing is the little bit of holographic spot gloss foiling on the ghosts on the front. So this has a bilingual booklet, so half of it's in English, half of it isn't. It's great. Like, it's enough. I love that they've put, not in the keywords, they've put the place, like a location and a time, which I just really like that extra little bit. I thought that was fantastic. So for ages, I was umming and ahhing about the Boo Tarot, but I had seen some people complain about the cardstock. I don't know if this is the same cardstock as that one. It has bowed already. It is a flexible, I would call this satin, but closer to gloss satin. You know, I find satins can lean either way, and this one's definitely more towards gloss. So I just didn't get it. And I think it's also too because I'm more of an oracle girly than a tarot girly. Like, I don't want to have that many tarots. But then when she came out with this one, I was like, perfect. Perfect, you know. And this one just has such a festive vibe. It really does remind me of all of the holidays in the year, all of the festivals. So I love that it's got that festive season quality to it. It's very bright. It's very colorful. Once again, my kids absolutely loved this one. But the thing that stunned me the most, I thought this was just going to be a cute, kitschy little deck, you know, in my collection. But it read spot on for me. I just couldn't believe every time how much it really got to the core of what I was experiencing. But like I said, the way it's written up, it is very loving. It's not harsh, but at the same time, it tells you what you need to hear. You know, maybe you don't want to hear it, but you need to hear it. And this is another one of those decks that I couldn't put down. I just wanted to pull a card from it every day, even though, you know, I had other decks come in. Like this month, I had a lot of decks come in, and it's just, that's the way it was. So it was a bit overwhelming, but this one I just kept in between working with the other decks, kept just pulling out a card. Like, all right, man, tell me what I need to hear today. Lay it out flat for me, but I just love it. It's so sweet and adorable, and it makes me happy. Okay, so here is the bag for my Green Glyphs Oracle. So this one is Wattlebird yarn in the color Banksia. It is a 4-ply, and I have done it in Suzette stitch. So this is to go with my green glyphs, as you can see. I put the gold in there because I wanted it to match the gold hollow. That's why I put that button. But let me talk about this deck, this bloody deck that took me by surprise. So, guidebook, great. Like, this is enough. You know, it's not extensive, but it's enough. They've got great spreads in there. They talk about how to use this deck. It's sort of almost in a Lenormand style. That is the recommendation, but this is great. I don't know why they did this size when the deck is this size though. Like, this is just one pet peeve of mine. It's just like, it doesn't match. So that's a bit odd that they've done such a large, like, envelope style book. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind that. I love the size of this. Like I said, it does look like a Lenormand size to me. The backs are fine. I'm surprised I went for this deck because I don't like a lot of greens. I think it's because I can't wear green because I have olive skin. It just makes me look jaundiced. But I don't know. I just don't like a lot of greens, but this one was an exception. So this has a beautiful gold holographic edging to it. It's lovely matte cardstock, and it has the foiling on the holographic foiling on the front. So this creator had a lot of their decks in this sort of theme. So it was like a set. It had a tarot, it had a Lenormand, it had a rune one. But the reason that I chose this one was because this was the only one that had this. And I just think this is stunning. If the other decks had the foiling, I might have considered them. But another reason I picked this is because of the subjects on the cards. They were just so, to me, random. There was like mixing the mundane, very domestic, everyday items with things that are a little bit more esoteric or odd. And I love that, you know. I actually do like mundane items, like a paint can. And I find it fascinating. Yesterday's coffee, like, it just speaks to me, you know. But then Lost Parrot, oh, Lost Parrot. There are some more like mystical objects, like a stone tablet. That's not something I'm going to come across. Enoki mushrooms, guys. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, come on. You guts to be kidding me. Of course I'm going to get this deck. So I purchased it, but I was sort of keeping my expectations low because I'm like, I don't know, am I going to like it? Especially because it's got the limited color palette in the greens, which just is not my vibe. I freaking love this deck, man. Once again, it's another one that was just so bloody fun to use. I wanted to get each card. Like, I just wanted to keep playing with it so I could get every single card in the deck and I could read them all up because it's just, I find it fascinating. Like, I love it. I really do. So absolutely delighted by this deck. Look at the wisteria, stunning. Despite the fact, yeah, it's a color I don't like. I really had a ball and it reads beautifully. And like I said, with this one, I guess you could use Lenormand style and put them together to get a meaning. But I tend to put the two together, bang, bang, on top of another reading. So I like to layer other readings and then put this as like the final little like full stop to that reading. So yeah, when I do this one, I have to pull two. I can't just pull one. It's just not enough. Here we have my bag for the Lovely Ladies Tarot. So I absolutely freaking love this yarn. This is Qing yarn in Cosmos in DK. I just freaking love these colors. Anything that's got pink, purples, and blues together, I am a sucker for. So this stitch is called a mixed cluster stitch. And I'm actually really digging it. I think this also might become a mainstay in my bag collection, although I am a bit worried that it might fray a bit because these are like clusters and I don't know how they'll hold up as compared to say a, what's the other one called? Crunch stitch, which is a bit more of a bobble. This is like a semi-bobble, but we'll see how it holds up. And if it does, then I'll get it. So I chose this one because this deck has a ton of like blues and purples and pinks in it. So here we go, the Lovely Ladies Tarot. Yep, backs are fine. It's got the sharp gold edging, but you know what I mean, I can deal with that. It's got a sort of satin, but closer to gloss. And then it's got the foiling embossed in the card. So sometimes you can see it on the back, it pushes through, but I don't mind that at all. So this was a pre-order off Etsy. This is the guidebook. It's fine, it's simple, to the point. And yeah, I surprised myself for getting this. I think the reason I got this deck was because I like the color palette. Like I said, pinks, purples, and blues. I love that color palette. I dig ladies. I like the ladies. But I had some pictures of this artist's work on my Pinterest page, the death card. Hopefully we can get to it. Especially, I'd already had pinned. And I'm like, hey, I know that image. So I was like, all right, we'll see what it is. See what it's like. And this is not something I should like, but it works for me. Once again, it just read very well for me. I don't love, like I said, the gold, the sharp edging. Here it is. This is the card. I had this pinned on my Pinterest. And so I pretty much bought this deck because of this card. I'm going to be honest with you. But I like that there's like diverse body reps and ethnicities and like sexualities, and that appeals to me, you know. So I don't mind having decks that are solely ladies. It's my jam, to be honest. I actually probably prefer it. But yeah, it's cute, it's poppy, it's got a sort of upbeat, playful, but you know, powerful woman vibes, like rah-rah, go girls kind of energy to it. And yeah, it's definitely one that I could probably read for girlfriends with and they would like it. You know, people that don't really use the tarot much. Like, it's not offensive, it's not jarring, it's not scary, it's accessible. It's pleasing to the eye, like there's an aesthetic vibe to it. So I'm happy I purchased this. It was another one that I'm keeping. Like at the moment, almost every deck that I'm getting is staying in my collection because I'm vibing with it. So this was the Lovely Ladies. And here we are on the last one for this month. This is what I've made for my tarot of Aphrodite. So I've got a little love hearts button there. Before I talk about the thing, someone did ask me, I get this question a lot, do you sell your bags? And the biggest reason that I say no is because like the yarn that I buy is quite expensive. So each skein of yarn is between $40 to $60. And I would use about 2/3 of it to make a bag. So because of that, and then the buttons each, like I can make them myself now, but before I used to purchase them, they're about like $3 each, I think, maybe a bit more than that.
yeah, because you've got to add on shipping. So I think they come to like $5 per button. And then obviously all the hours spent making it. I just to break even, because you'd have to include shipping, and I'm from Australia, and if anyone is not in Australia, the shipping from here to over there is ridiculously expensive. So I would have to charge too much just to break even, and I don't want to charge that much money, you know, for a bag. I make them for friends, obviously, that live here. I do that lovingly, but yeah, I just don't feel comfortable selling them. And also too, I find that size-wise, they're not always all the same. Like, as you can see, this one's a bit wider, this one's a bit thicker. Like, I make the bags to fit each deck perfectly, so I just wouldn't feel confident that I've made a deck perfectly sized bag unless I had the same deck that the person was ordering a deck for. But yeah, unfortunately, no, I don't sell them. But yeah, so hopefully, you know, that answers your question of why I don't sell them. But anyway, so this bag, this is Walk Collection yarn, and it's in the color It's a Girl, and it's 4-ply. And I did this also in the mixed cluster stitch, because like I said, when I find a stitch I like, I'm like, oh, let me just do all the bags in it. So I've chosen the pinks because this is a pinky deck, you know, and it's even got the beautiful rose on the edge, but it's not the exact pink, but it'll do. So this guidebook is just about the artwork. There is no tarot meanings in the guidebook. I love this rose gold edging. I think it's gorgeous. This deck, I wanted it from the Kickstarter, couldn't get it because they wouldn't ship to Australia. I thought maybe after the Kickstarter, the creator would put the deck on their Etsy. They did eventually, quite a long time, to be honest. But then they still wouldn't ship to Australia. So my bestie, Rochelle, came in clutch and was like, hey girl, I will order it and then I will ship it to you and you just pay me back. And that is how I got my hands on this deck, because I really like it, man. Like, I do love the art on here. Like, this is the classical art is my vibe. Stunning. Look at that painting. That's gorgeous. Strength. Amazing. I liked the images that this creator chose to go with the cards. And I don't even mind the pink borders. Like, normally I'm not a border girly. I really am not. And yet I'm like, I'll accept it. You know, I love this one too. Just bad bitch vibes. I'll accept it. So I'm so happy I finally got it. Like, it's my jam, you know, and it's, you know, named after a Greek goddess, which is, you know, I love Greek goddesses. So I'm really happy that this managed to, you know, be a thing for me. When I thought I'm just going to have to accept that I'm never going to own this deck. And I was just sadly, wistfully watching everybody else's videos online who were playing with the deck. You know, I think to Pure Red Velvet, I think she was playing with hers, and I'm just like, oh man, I want to join the club and I want to have one of the decks, one of these decks too. But yeah, Rochelle was like, I can make it happen for you. So she's like my fairy godmother, my tarot fairy godmother. And she made it happen, and I love it. I think it's excellent quality, and like I said, it's beautiful. Do I wish the author had also put their own meanings in a guidebook? Yes, because I'm just a curious biddy, and I like to see what other people think. I like to see what other people associate energetically with cards, and maybe too why they picked this image to go with it. So for curiosity's sake, yeah, I wish like every creator had some sort of guidebook with even something written, you know. But I know not everyone wants to do them, and now that I'm writing up my own guidebook, I see why. It's quite laborious. It's not as easy as it seems. So I understand. I completely understand. But yeah, that's the only complaint I have about this deck, is just there isn't a guidebook to go with it. But otherwise, very happy that it's in my collection now. And these are all the decks and the bags that I have, oh, I love that too, played with and gotten this month. So thank you for watching. This is one of my favorite images of Eros and Psyche. I hope that wherever you are, you're having an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening. Oh, I don't want to end it on Aries. Evening. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.